Today on All Out Brick, we'll be looking at the Glatorian Legends. We're going to build the sets, review them, and then give out a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. Welcome to another Matsunui Monday. As always, the best way to tag along with us every week is to subscribe and turn on notifications. This week, we're going to be building the Glatorian Legends, which altogether form a group of 6 sets that were released during the 2009 line of Bionicle. The Glatorian Legends in canon are rather straightforward. Simply put, they're Glatorian who are assumed to be more powerful, unique, and integral to the overall narrative of Bionicle. They often possess additional abilities, distinct armor designs, and unique weapons. Basically, they're an expanded subset of Glatorian characters. The packaging is very similar to what we saw with the Glatorian, just with different canister tops. The front shows off the sets in front of their environments, along with the general set information. The back of the canisters show off all of the Glatorian Legends standing next to one another, along with a lot of text and a small advertisement for the Bionicle Legend Reborn movie. Alright, let's go ahead and unbox one of these sets. We're going to unbox Kiina. We've got her in new condition. Just going to use a brick separator to cut across this canister because it's pretty sealed up. So just going to cut across there. Alright, so hopefully that's cut enough. There we go, it's off. Well, let's see. So allegedly the canisters are the ones that smell, not the box set. So let's go ahead and let's see. All right, it does have a little bit of that plastic smell. That's pretty cool. But so inside we're just gonna have some pieces. Let's dump them out. Look at all those in brand new sealed condition. And that's it. There looks like there's really nothing besides that. And see the instructions here, pretty folded up after a decade of sitting around, decade plus. Just go straight into the instructions. There's really nothing on the back. A little bit of a Star Wars advertisement, and ooh, we got Farrah and Skirmish. So we're gonna be getting to them in quite a while. It's gonna go a little bit out of order here. We got Bionicle.com advertisement, some Lego Club ads. There's some of the battle vehicles and the Glatorian, and actually, those are the Agori. I'm sorry. There's our Glatorian Legends. There's some more battle vehicles. And there's some... Wow, there are a lot of advertisements in this thing. Just kind of keeps going. And there's the game. So, total, we've got the instructions and just the parts. Really nothing else to it. The Glatorian really impressed me last week, so that's a tough act to follow. I'm hoping the Glatorian Legends can at least fall within the same range as them. The only way to find out is to go ahead and knock these builds out. Let's go ahead and do it. After about 50 minutes, I've completed the Glatorian Legend build. The building experience was a bit better than the Glatorian from last week, but it was still a little frustrating because there were some broken and missing parts still. Lesson learned, 2009, the rumors are true. You guys know the drill by now. We're going to go over each individual set, and then at the end, we'll go over all 6 collectively. Kicking things off is Stronius, who is of course a Skrull Elite. His overall look is very rocky, too much to the point where he almost doesn't look like a Bionicle. That thought aside, he does look great as a set, and I like how they continued the red and black color scheme, this time opting for a dark red piece buried behind the black. Without a doubt, the highlights of Stronius are the helmet, shoulders, and weaponry. The helmet has a very unique look and ditches the tail we saw on the previous Skrull representations. The shoulders contain massive armor pieces that add a ton of bulk to this set. And in his right hand, Stronius carries a really fascinating club that just looks deadly in battle. Just like we saw with the Glatorian, and this is the case for all the Glatorian Legends, there are Thornaxe launchers and life counters. The Thornaxe launchers function pretty well. I just imagine it's very easy to lose the ammo, and the life counter feels a bit out of place, but adds a valuable play feature to the sets. Ackar comes in hot with a color scheme I wish was copied all over the other Fire Tribe sets with its pure red and orange look. This color scheme is just so vibrant and reminiscent of early Bionicle. I love it. The actual build for Ackar is pretty simple, and there isn't anything out of the ordinary. His helmet isn't quite as good as the previous Fire Tribe helmets we saw with Ranu and Malum, but there is still a slight gradient printed on it. I'm sure this piece is used in other sets, but the flame piece used in Akkar's left hand is the biggest I've ever seen and invokes a ton of power. Unfortunately, my Ackar had a broken silver piece, so I had to improvise the connection to his left hand. Next up is probably the most fascinating of the Glatorian Legend sets, Vastus. Vastus follows the dark green and lime color scheme, but includes a lot of molds which I would have associated with a Water Tribe member. I guess you can think of Vastus as more of a swamp creature. Speaking of that mold, the helmet looks amazing. It has a sense of wisdom to it, like more of a reserved fighter. The detail is just magnificent here and goes perfectly alongside the shoulder armor, which are lime pieces of a very similar but not identical mold. The one thing about Vastus that bothers me is the weapon. It looks great, but really restricts movement at the arms, so much so that it's tough to even pose the model. I wish this were one of the weapons where we could opt to not have the staff connecting to the hands, but unfortunately that's not an option. Moving on to Kiina, this set does a great job of translating an amphibious appearance to the lone Water Tribe set from this group. The mask has less detail than we've seen from other ones this year, but the aesthetic of it is quite unique and telling. Just like we saw with Ackar, Kiina is pretty straightforward and plain to build, and can be a bit forgettable, but by no means is a bad set. The tridents Kiina carries are a bright spot for this set with their intricate shaping and their amazing detail. Gelu caught me a bit by surprise with the color scheme, including so much navy. I would have guessed that they would have stuck with the light blue and white look. Overall, this set has a very striking Anika similarity, which I don't love since we're trying to move on to new stories, but it still looks good, no denying that. The weapon pieces look great, but just compared to what we saw last week, I wish the silver portions were white. Character aside, this set looks pretty nice, but it being essentially the set reveal of Matanui is a bit disappointing. I know there's another version out there, but to not get gold in Matanui when we saw it with the Glatorian sets last week is a bit of a gut punch. Compared to the other Glatorian, Matanui is the smallest, and his weapons are the least interesting by a considerable amount. The Mask of Life looks good as always, but once again, we need this in gold, not bright light orange. If you want to pick up the Glatorian Legends for yourself in your collection, you can pick them up for around $20 in used condition per set, and then if you want to go brand new sealed, that's going to go up to about $70 per set, but keep in mind, Toa Matanui, it's like $140. So he's pretty high up there when it comes to price. With their price being similar to the Glatorian, I would really just suggest filling out all 6 of the Glatorian models first. Unless you're a big fan of one of these guys or their characters, then yeah, come here. But since they're the same price, spoiler alert, I think the Glatorian are better than the Glatorian Legends. In terms of a score, I'm going to give the Glatorian Legends a 7.4. They're good sets, they're just a bit lower than what we've seen so far from 2009, and I feel like they could have really pushed the boundaries, but chose not to. The Glatorian Legends are more of a typical group of 6 we're used to seeing from the Toa lines and the villain lines, and don't go nearly as far as the Glatorian do in terms of being bold or different, especially when the lore says they're supposed to be more unique. It's a bit disappointing that they aren't. Once again, if you're asking me, I'm telling you to go straight to the Glatorian sets first, fill out those 6, and then come to these guys. But if you're going to get these guys first, sure, go for it. You're still going to get good sets. So 7.4, that's your review. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also be sure to check us out on our website and follow along on our social media pages. Until next time, stay bricking.